Okay, so we have done yesterday about the different factors that are underlying the abnormal behavior. So we have read about biological, genetic, psychological, and cognitive, humanistic, existential, socio-cultural, and the last one we have done about diathesis stress model. This model is all about the 3 steps. What does this word means? Please try to understand the meaning of diathesis means. It is a biological predisposition to the disorder. Certain biological causes are there, be it your faulty genes, be it any hormonal imbalance inside your body. If it is there, then you are prone to certain kind of psychological disorders faster as compared to other people. Very simple, try to understand. The first step, they are saying that the presence of some biological aberration which may be inherited. That means any fault is there in the biological makeup, any cause is there which is inherited. That is, you are carrying it from the parents, that is inherited. The first step. If it is there, it will lead to the second step. What is the second one? The diathesis may carry a vulnerability to develop a psychological disorder. The thing which I just explained, that if you are having any fault in the biological makeup, then you are prone to the psychological disorder. You will become vulnerable to that particular disorder. The third one is, it is the presence of pathogenic stressors, that is factors or stressors that may lead to psychopathology. Now, third component, they are saying that, presence of pathogens. As we just discussed this in chapter number 3, pathogens are what? The stressors that are present in the environment. So that also lead to psychopathology. Psychopathology means diseases which are related to the psychological makeup. Any disorder, you can say, mainly anxiety, depression, and schizophrenia can be happened if there is a diathesis stress model, if there is the cause. So 3 steps are there. Just understand the meaning of diathesis. It is a biological aberration that make you more prone to certain kind of psychological disorders or pathogens in the environment, and you are easily carrying or easily getting affected by those stressors. Fine. 3 steps will be there. I hope I made myself clear, Priyanshi. Fine. Let's come upon the next section of this chapter, very important one, major psychological disorders. There are various kind of major psychological disorders. To start with the first one, we are doing anxiety disorder. Now, what does anxiety means? We all experience this thing in our daily life. We all have encountered this term. We often use this word. But when I say anxiety disorder, as we discussed about eustress, you all remember, I hope. In the same way, little bit anxiety is always good. Suppose you are having anxiety before your exam, at the time of preparation, it is good. It will help you, it will motivate you to achieve good marks, to give good performance. But when it is increasing, when high levels of anxiety is there, when it becomes so distressed and it starts interfering with the effective functioning. See what happened? The dysfunction happened. If that anxiety is interfering or interrupting your daily functioning, then it becomes alarming. Then it becomes exaggerated, right? So we are talking about first disorder, that is known as generalized anxiety disorder. Just consult table number 4.1 given on page number 77. 5 types of major anxiety disorders and their symptoms are there. In a very good tabular form it is given. You can always refer this later on when you just again give it a reading. So the first one is generalized anxiety disorder. See, children, the symptoms will be very much similar. It may be confusing for you people to remember. So you have to make some specific symptoms. You have to learn them by any technique. As when we talk about generalized anxiety disorder, the key thing is that this is a kind of fear which is not attached to any particular object. In generalized anxiety disorder, what is happening? A person start having anxiety about the future events. Yes, he became hyper vigilant. It includes worry and apprehensive feelings about the future. So the person is not having any fear or any worry for a particular object, but altogether he become hyper vigilant. He become very much apprehensive about the future. So this is the key feature of generalized anxiety disorder. Now, what could be other feature? That it is also related to motor tension. Now, what does it mean? A person having generalized anxiety disorder often complain about motor tension. That means that person is unable to relax, calm down, is very restless, hyperactive, and visibly shaky and tense. They look like they are shaking and they look very tense. So this all comes under motor tension. These people are not able to relax and calm down, to sit quietly at one place. Yes, so these are certain characteristics of what? Generalized anxiety disorder. Now next comes panic disorder. This is all major anxiety disorder. First one is generalized anxiety disorder. Now second one is panic disorder. In panic disorder, it is also related to anxiety, but what is different? That it is particularly related to some object or some stimulus or some thought. A person is continuously having recurrent anxiety attacks. उसको लगातार एंजाइटी अटैक्स आते हैं एंड ही कॉन्स्टेंटली थिंक अबाउट दैट पर्टिकुलर स्टिमुलाई और ही कॉन्स्टेंटली हैव अ same thought again and again, and worry is there, intense terror is there. The clinical features, the symptoms are what? Shortness of breath, dizziness, trembling, palpitations, choking, nausea, chest pain or discomfort, fear of going crazy, losing control, or even dying. So these are the clinical symptoms. These are the complaints of the individual when we talk about the physical symptoms. Now next comes the phobias. Phobias, you all understand what does it mean. There are various kinds of phobias, but what is the key term used for phobias? These all are irrational fears. Fears which does not have any logic, which does not have any rationality, which does not have a valid reason. So these are all irrational fears related to it may be specific objects, maybe people, or maybe any situation. Fine. Now you're going to describe about three main phobias. We have given three phobias, three types of phobias. The first one is specific phobias. Specific जब हम use कर रहे हैं, then we are including that these are the irrational fears, such as intense fear of a certain type of animal. In case of cockroaches, in case of lizards, or in case of rats, you might have seen in your house, in our daily life, many people are having these kind of irrational fears. So this is all about specific phobias. Now, intense and incapacitating fear and embarrassment when dealing with others. This is what about social phobia. The next one is social anxiety disorder, which is also known as social phobia. In this phobia, you have fear and a feeling of embarrassment whenever you deal with others in the society. So this is the second type of phobia. Either you can use social anxiety disorder or social phobia. Now, what is the third type of phobia? Agoraphobia. What does it mean? In this, people develop a fear of entering unfamiliar situations. Many people with agoraphobia are afraid of leaving their home. Yes, these kind of persons are very much uncomfortable with unfamiliar situation. They generally love to remain at their house, their identified situations, familiar situations, and they do not like to leave their home. And if they does this, they carry out a very feeling of discomfort, unpleasantness, uh, fear, or a feeling of tension. All these things are there with these kind of people. Now, next major anxiety disorder after phobia, what is it? Separation anxiety disorder. The short form is SAD. Yes, what does it mean? In this, they are saying that uh, people is having fearful and anxious feeling about separation from attachment figures to an extent that is developmentally not appropriate. Here we are saying that persons who are having this kind of disorder, they do not uh, like to feel like to leave their attachment figures, be it their mother, be it their father, be it their any sibling or anyone, guardian, anyone. So these people are not comfortable leaving those prominent figures, and if they do this, they become very uncomfortable. They are not able to perform normally, and it is mainly happen with children. You must have seen that many children do not adjust or do not adapt to the school situation. Small children's kids, those who just get entered into play group, they are not able to function properly, function normally in school. They keep on crying, they keep on remembering their mother or father. So this is also a kind of separation anxiety disorder. Now, you must have seen, to avoid this kind of separation, children may scream, throw severe temper tantrums, or make suicidal gestures. When they become adult, or when they become even adolescent, these children may go for suicidal attempt also, if they are forced to leave that attachment figure forcefully. So this is all about separation anxiety disorder. So this is all about anxiety disorders. Now comes the next one, which is known as obsessive compulsive and related disorders. To start with the first term, what is obsessive? When I say obsessive, it is the inability to stop thinking about a particular idea or topic. Please remember, in obsessive compulsion, two terms are there, and both these terms have different meanings. Obsessive or obsession means to think about a particular idea or topic. In this, only thinking is there. Repeated thinking is there. And when I say compulsive behavior, this means there is a need to perform certain behaviors over and over again. In compulsive, what you are doing, you are repeating some kind of behavior. Maybe it is related to washing your hands, or maybe it is related to counting your currency, maybe it is related to checking the knob of your gas cylinder again and again. Yes, so these are certain behaviors which you do again and again. In obsession, what you are doing, you are just thinking about a particular idea or topic. You are thinking about a particular person again and again, again and again. Yes, you are not able to leave that topic. So this is all about obsessive compulsive disorder. These include the specific ideas, or are unable to prevent themselves from repeatedly carrying out a particular act or series of acts that affect their ability to carry out normal activities. Now, obviously, if a person keep on doing something, keep on thinking something, it will disrupt his or her normal functioning. how he or she will be able to perform all the functions of daily life properly and on time. It is not possible, and ultimately what it will cause lot of anxiety, lot of tension, lot of stress. So these symptoms are there. Now next category is trauma and stressor related disorders. When we talk about trauma, I think you remember about PTSD. The full form is post traumatic stress disorder. In this, what we have read, we have done this earlier also. In this kind of disorder, a person has gone through some natural disaster, some natural calamity, maybe tsunami or any earthquake or any bomb blast by a terrorist or any war related situation. So these are what the situations which an individual has encountered, and after that incident has taken place, still the person is not able to live a normal life because recurrent dreams are there, flashbacks are there, impaired concentration is there, emotional numbing is there. So these are the symptoms. The person is still not able to adapt and adjust to the present condition. Adjustment disorder and acute stress disorder are included under this category. If 1 mark question come, then give the example or give the types of trauma and stressor related disorders. You can give the example of adjustment disorder, first one, and second one is acute stress disorder. These are the types or examples of trauma and stressor related disorders. Fine. Now after this, be very clear with the things that first we have done major anxiety disorders, right? Then after that, we have done obsessive, compulsive and related disorder. The third one, we have done trauma and stressor related disorder. And now we're going to start somatic symptom and related disorder. Now, what is this all about? When I say somatic, you all understand the meaning of soma. Soma means what? The body. Yes. So somatic symptom and related disorder, a different category all. So first one is somatic symptom disorder. What does this mean? When we talk about somatic symptom, there is a common complaint that an individual start complaining that I am having a particular disease or I am having symptoms of particular disease. But there is no biological cause in reality. Very interesting and very surprising at the same time. An individual is complaining about some physical illness, some physical disease, but on getting all the checkups, medical checkups, the person is not having any biological cause. So this is a kind of disorder. If there is a biological cause, a person start developing the symptoms of a particular disease. That is very common, very obvious and very normal. But if a person is saying that I'm having cancer, but on getting the reports after the medical checkup, there is no biological cause as such, and this is very surprising. Still the person has that belief that no, I am suffering from this particular kind of cancer. So this is all about. So under somatic symptom and related disorder, the first one is somatic symptom disorder. What does it mean? It involves a person having persistent body related symptoms which may or may not be related to any serious medical condition. People with this disorder tend to be overly preoccupied with their symptoms, and they continually worry about their health and make frequent visits to doctors. So in this, what a person is having, he is continuously saying that I am having these symptoms. He continuously shows the worry about his health and often visit to doctors. But there is as such no medical cause, as such no biological cause in this condition. The second type of somatic symptom and related disorder is illness anxiety disorder. Now, what does this mean and how it is different from somatic symptom disorder? In illness anxiety disorder, it involves persistent preoccupation about developing a serious illness and constantly worrying about this possibility. I hope you got the difference. In somatic symptom, a person is complaining that I'm having these things. That is why I'm having that particular disease. Okay. But in illness anxiety disorder, you can say a person is preoccupied about developing it later on or in the coming future. A person may say that, see, I'm going to have that disease. I'll be suffering from that disease. Sooner I'll be getting that disease into my body. So in illness anxiety disorder, the person is having persistent preoccupation about developing a serious illness and constantly worrying also about this possibility. Now next, what is important? This is accompanied by anxiety about one's health. Anxiety will obviously will be there. Individuals with illness anxiety disorder are overly concerned about undiagnosed disease. See, the disease hasn't been diagnosed. So, undiagnosed disease, negative diagnostic results. He may also say that, see, I'll going for this medical checkup today, and I'm sure a negative report will be there. Negative means not in that sense, but negative report means that I'll be having that disease for sure. You just wait and watch. So this is a kind of prediction he's making that I'll be having that particular disease. Do not respond to assurance by doctors. He is not convinced by anyone, not even by doctors. If doctors are also saying that, see, you will not able to develop that disease, you are not having any symptoms, then also that person is not at all convinced. This is a kind of disorder. He is just sticked to his own false belief. Now, in general, both somatic symptom disorder and illness anxiety disorder are concerned with medical illnesses. In both the things, there is medical illness, but the difference lies in the way this concern is expressed. Fine. In somatic symptom, what is? The expression is in the terms of physical complaints, while in case of illness anxiety disorder, it is the anxiety which is the main concern. Illness anxiety means the person is having apprehension or anxiety about developing that disease in the near future. And in somatic symptom disorder, the person is continuously complaining about the physical symptoms, about the illness. Fine. Now, the third type of somatic symptom and related disorder is conversion disorders. Now, what is this? In conversion disorder, an individual starts reporting loss of part or all of some basic body functions. Now, in this conversion disorder, individual is saying that my eyes are not working. My body organs are not working. My ears are not working. So he starts showing the symptoms of paralysis when he says, my body is not working. So he will start showing that, see, I got a paralysis attack. I'm not able to shake my body organs. He may start developing the symptoms of blindness, that I'm not able to see. He may start developing the symptoms of deafness. He may complain that I'm not able to listen clearly or completely. Okay, so these are certain examples. Now, why does it occur? It occurs after a stressful experience and maybe quite sudden. These conversion disorders are a result of some very stressful experience. Might be that individual has undergone through a very stressful situation in his or her life, and these are quite sudden. All of a sudden, suppose a person is very well today, and in the morning he is fine, and in the evening you just start that he is complaining all those symptoms. So these are very sudden. Very suddenly, very automatically, the individual start complaining. He was very fine, okay, normal in the morning, but in the evening, all of a sudden, he start complaining that I'm not able to see the things. No accident has occurred, no injury has occurred. He has in the house, he was staying at home. Then also, he start developing the symptoms of blindness. So this is all about conversion disorder. Fine. So this was somatic symptom and related disorder. Three types were there. Remember, and please pay attention. Do not confuse somatic symptom disorder, illness anxiety disorder, and third one is conversion disorder. You can also go through box 4.1. In this, there is a differentiation showing between somatic symptoms and dissociative disorder. We're going to start with dissociative disorder right now. After this, you can compare and you can refer box 4.1 very precisely, very accurately in a very simple language. They are given the differences. Now, what are dissociative disorders? Now, what does this word mean? It can be seen, what is dissociation? It can be viewed as severance of the connection between ideas and emotions. What you believe, what are your beliefs, and what are your feelings, and what are your emotions. Yes. So dissociation में क्या हो रहा है? What are the feelings? Unreality. Person is not at all real. Estrangement. Strange things are happening. All new things are happening. Depersonalization. The person lost his personal identity. He is start imagining some other personality. Depersonalization. And sometimes a loss or shift of complete identity. Sometimes he at all forgets that what is his name, what are other demographic information about himself, and there could be a loss also or a shift of identity. He may start recognizing himself any other personality. So these are certain characteristics of dissociative disorders. Now to start with the first one, dissociative amnesia. Amnesia we can relate it to the memory. Always remember. So what are the symptoms? Dissociative amnesia, it is characterized by extensive but selective memory loss that has no known organic cause. What is happening in this particular disorder? A person may have loss of selective memory. A person may forget about his childhood period. He may forget about his married life. He may forget about any particular stage of his life, maybe about his professional life. Yes, and there is no known organic cause. There is no injury, there is no biological cause. All of a sudden, an individual start complaining that he is not remembering. He doesn't have selective memory. What other characteristics are there? Others can no longer recall specific events. ऐसा भी होता है कि an individual just forget the specific events in his life, the major events in his life. Maybe he does not want to remember them. Yes, about some people, about some places, or about some objects. Now, a part of dissociative amnesia is dissociative focus. What does it mean? It is also a kind of dissociative amnesia. What is happening in this? Essential feature of this could be an unexpected travel away from home and workplace, the assumption of a new identity, and the inability to recall the previous identity. What all things are happening? A person is unexpectedly traveling. He all of a sudden just leave his home and start traveling to anywhere. He doesn't know what is his destination, but he just go for that journey without being aware. He just leave his home or workplace. He may start assuming a new identity of himself, yes, but this phase usually ends when the person suddenly wakes up. In this disorder, what happened? All of a sudden, the person start getting his previous identity, the previous memories, and he forgets about that phase of memory loss. That person says, he was it like that? Have I forgotten the things? Did I reacted in this manner? So that individual all of a sudden, forgets about that phase of memory loss, and he start gained his previous identity, his previous self concept. The second type of dissociative disorder is dissociative identity disorder. Now, this is the most dramatic of all the disorders. Why? You all have heard this name, multiple personality. Yes, it is very much shown in the movies also, and it is the most dramatic of all the disorders. Why? Because a single individual is playing different roles, multiple personalities. And why it is happening? So mainly the causes are traumatic experiences in childhood. Those who have encountered traumatic experiences in childhood, they may start behaving in such manner that different personalities are there. At workplace, they are different. At home, they are different. With particular persons, they are different. In night, they are differently behaving. During daytime, they are behaving differently. So there are multiple personalities. Now the third one is depersonalization or derealization disorder. As the name is suggesting, it involves a dreamlike state in which the person has a sense of being separated both from self and from reality. In this, what is happening? The person is not aware about his self. As we have done in chapter number 2, if I say a person is not aware about his self, what all things will come? The personal identity, the social identity, self as subject, self as object, yes. And he's also not aware of, or he's also being detached or separated from reality. In depersonalization, what is there? There is a change of self-perception, and the person's sense of reality is temporarily lost or changed. जो असली में वो है, वो या तो temporarily lost हो जाता है या change हो जाता है. So depersonalization में क्या हो रहा है? There is a change of self-perception. The person starting perceiving himself as something else. So this is all about depersonalization or derealization disorder. Three types of dissociative disorder. The first one is dissociative amnesia related to memory. The second one, dissociative identity disorder, that is multiple personality. And the third one was depersonalization or derealization disorder, which is separated. In this, the person is separated both from self and from reality. Now next comes the next kind of disorder is depressive disorders. Very simple, I think. It is related to depression. You just going to write what are the symptoms of depression. First of all, depression covers a variety of negative moods and behavioral changes. There are negative moods, and accordingly behavior is also changing. In day-to-day life, we often use the term depression to refer to normal feelings after a significant loss, such as the breakup of a relationship or the failure to attain a significant goal in our life. These are the major reasons. Now the major type is major depressive disorder. What does it mean? It is defined as a period of depressed mood or loss of interest or pleasure in most activities. person is not taking interest in any of the activity, together with other symptoms, it may be related to the physiological one, maybe change in body weight, constant sleep problems, tiredness, inability to think clearly, is not able to concentrate and think properly, agitation, greatly slowed behavior, and thoughts of death and suicide. So these are the normal symptoms of major depressive disorder. Other symptoms include excessive guilt or feelings of worthlessness. See, you have to remember these symptoms and you also have to write it down. Why depression is occurring? Because the person start having the feeling of guilt or feeling of worthlessness, that they have no value, that they have no worth. Now, what are the factors which predisposing towards depression? There are certain factors responsible. The first one is genetic makeup or the heredity. Second one is age. For example, they are saying that women particularly are at risk during young adulthood. Yes, and men are at risk particularly when they are in early middle age. So this is all about age. The third factor is gender. According to the reports, women in comparison to men are more likely to report a depressive disorder. So these are the factors: the genetic makeup, the age, and the gender. Now next comes bipolar and related disorder. This is the other type of major disorder. Bipolar and related disorder mein what we are discussing first. What happened, Priyanshi? What does this sign means? Okay, I'm getting the things, but let me complete two more topics. Okay, so another one is bipolar and related disorders. In this, what we are discussing, that bipolar first disorder was earlier called as manic depressive disorder. Earlier, this term was known as manic depressive disorder. Manic means when the person is very excited, the period of mania. And depressive means all of a sudden the person become depressive, very quiet, very silent. So these are the alternate mood swings. One time the person is very active, very excited, over enthusiastic, over energetic. At the other time, during depressive phase, he's very quiet, low energy is there, no bodily movement is there. So bipolar disorder was earlier known as manic depressive disorder. Please underline this. And you can explain that manic episodes rarely appear by themselves. They usually alternate with depression. Alternation is there. Fine. Now, other example is, some examples of bipolar and related disorder could be the first one is bipolar first disorder. The second is bipolar second disorder. And third one is cyclothymic disorder. This is also a kind of bipolar disorder. So just remember these three names: bipolar first disorder, bipolar second disorder, and the third one is cyclothymic disorder. Now on page number 80, children, just pay attention. Very general topic they have taken. They are describing you about the suicide. That why does it take place? What are the reason? What are the symptoms? So this is very general. You can go through it. But what to remember, on page number 80, second column, the third paragraph, suicides are preventable. What you all have to remember, these are certain important characteristics. Either you can just underline. Suicides are preventable. There is a need. What is a need? How can it be prevented? That there is a need for comprehensive multi-sectoral approach. Multi-sectoral, all the people have to take care. Who all are those people? The government, the media, and civil society. All these have to play important role as to control the just a second. Hello, Pushpa ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
You can stop the recording.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It was already paused. I have paused it.
Beta, please turn on
Okay,
your video.